Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So, today we're going to be covering some of the pitfalls of not having a plan post downsizing. And I want to just read the comments a lot on this one, and I want to read this topic and just talk about how I relate to it, essentially, and how I'm trying to find a life. I think there is an aspect after weight loss where it's like you have to get a life, essentially. So, as part of that, I'm just going to let you guys know for my spiritual girlies and boilies, I am using my TikTok to talk about the mystical things. And I've decided to do that just kind of as a hobby because I love it and I'm trying to get a life. I'm in my get a life era, basically, where I'm trying to fill my mind and fill my time with other things outside of weight loss because it's going to be ending soon. And I don't want this to happen, what we're going to read about. So if you guys are interested in that, we're going to cover all that over there. And I'm just going to have fun with it. And yeah, so I just want to let you guys know because some of you guys have commented that you'd like to see me talk more about that stuff. We're going to do it on TikTok. Okay, on my TikTok. Anyways, if you always regain weight after you lose it, a realization. I've realized that for people, including me, who have dealt with weight gain and weight loss for most of their life, I think a big problem is that our minds are so occupied all the time on weight and what to eat and what not to eat and wanting to lose weight, etc. So when we actually lose the weight, it's like we don't know what to do or think about anymore, ? I think that's why a lot of people regain the weight because we haven't developed the personality and the mindset of a person who doesn't struggle with weight. All that we know and all that we have been for so long is a person who is struggling to lose weight. And I believe that when we then subconsciously damage things for ourselves and put on weight again just so we can go back to our usual personality. So, class, no, I'm just kidding. What does this sound like to you? It's giving toxic ritualistic, okay? And for anybody who doesn't know that, if you just so happen to be a new person on my channel, that has to do with E followed by the letter D. And on this channel, we primarily talk about BINGE, or as some creators have said, hinge. Okay, so we're coming at it from primarily that perspective. However, some of the things I say can apply to all of them. But I've talked a lot about this year how the toxic ritualistic for many people is a replacement of personality. It's a replacement of identity. It's a replacement of something to do. It's a way to fill your time. And a lot of people don't think about it that way. But when you've left it, honey, you can tell that that's where a lot of it comes from. So again, I've been really struggling with this since July. It was around July that I was approaching average, approaching thin. And it was like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like at that point, I was like, holy crap, I have no idea. But I've been working at it now for months. So I would say, like, if you're here with me, get a life. This is the get a life era. You know, my Lana era is the getting a life era. I believe the next era will be having a life. Okay? This is the get a life era. So I'm trying to fill in my time. I'm trying to find new pursuits, get in touch with hobbies, get in touch with people, connect, all this stuff, you know, get in touch with people in my life. I've been seeing my cousin every week now. I'm going to go see my cousin and her baby tomorrow. You know, it's like we're doing this damn thing. We're doing it. I'm trying to see a lot more movies. I'm obsessed with horror movies. I'm leaning into that. I'm going to hopefully see a horror movie with my grandma tomorrow too. Like, I'm just doing it. I'm home for the holidays. I told you I went from, Derry, Alabama, where I live. It went from the set of a horror movie of Pennywise to now it's a Hallmark Christmas movie special. Okay, things have shifted in tone in my life, and that's okay. But we got to do this. We got to do this. And if you guys are here, if you're in the same spot as me, you got to do it too. We have to get a life. So we're just going to say it, if a lot of things, I won't say everything. I'll say this, if Gen Z is trying to bring back the 2000s to a certain extent, like with fashion or whatever, we're going to bring back the insult, the term, all of it, of get a life. I think a lot of people need to get a life. I think I need to get a life. I think all the people that are making video after video about how much they hate Taylor Swift's new album, they need to get a life. I said it. Chapel Point. Okay, it's still there. I told you. My eras never completely go away. They don't die. They build on each other. But no, I'm also pointing to me because I'm like, ooh, honey, I need to get a life. So I'm working at it. But that's what I would tell this person, which I know that's kind of harsh, but sometimes you just need that little 2000s-y slap in the face of like, oh, crap. I don't have a life. I need to get one, And that's kind of what this is giving. And honestly, it protects your recovery. It protects your weight loss. It protects your maintenance. And it can also help as you're losing too. Like I would definitely consider getting a life as you're losing because it can really help and create less of a pressure. Because I think even if we're not toxically ritualistic, which not every single person that is losing weight is toxically ritualistic, I would say most people aren't, especially if we're just at a vanity weight level or mid or, small fat, especially those categories. A lot of people don't have these issues within that range. There's still something about having something practical to work towards every day and then that being done and leaving a huge vacuum. And that vacuum can still lead to procedural issues. It can lead to laziness within the area, which can then lead to regain. And it can lead to not thinking about things, getting kind of lost with it or losing discipline in a way that is unproductive. And I'm not a big fan of yo-yo dieting. I don't think it's healthy. I think it's important to just like kind of one and done it. I know a lot of you guys on the channel, you're looking to see me maintain. And so I take that seriously as an activist. I think that's a huge part of it. And that's why I'm doing all the things I'm doing. I'm really planning in advance. I've already planned my fitness goals. I'm planning other things. Like I said, I'm trying to fill my time. Spiritual girlies, hit up my TikTok, spiritual girlies and boilies. Hit up my TikTok. And we're going to talk about, astrology and stuff over there. So I'm just saying, we're doing the damn thing. I'm figuring it out. I'm doing spiritual work. I'm doing a lot of stuff outside of weight loss. And it's okay. Like, it's a lot, but I also, while spiritual work can be a great thing to work towards post downsizing, I also need to get a life. I'm going to keep saying it. So I'm going to keep doing things. I have a trip to Nashville coming up. I'm going to be seeing Lisa and Eric again in Nashville, and we're going to be filming. I don't care if they don't want to. I don't care if they write that. No, I'm just kidding. So, say it with me. Get a life. Get a life. Get a life. Get a life. It will protect your progress, okay? It's going to protect mine. I'm going to tell myself, get a life, Alex. Get a life. It will protect my progress. Okay, let's see. That's my answer to this. Let's see what other people say. This makes a lot of sense. I think another factor that plays into this is the scale not going down anymore. When we're losing weight, we get a sense of accomplishment by seeing our weight go down, and then in maintenance, we don't see that anymore. So we need to find that sense of accomplishment somewhere else. And a lot of people who have been focusing so much time on weight loss find it difficult to find something else to focus on. I think for me, like when it comes to that practical stuff, I might honestly, I'm just going to say it, I might start focusing a bit more on money, just in general. I might start focusing on trying to level up in that sense. because I feel like it can be kind of it's like a similar energy line because it's like very practical. And I've always been not the best with that type of thing. And I think that that's a part of life that I need to work on because I just do. But I think also too, like, I need to connect more. Like, there's a lot of stuff I need to do. Like, I feel like I'm very clear on what I need to do. That's what I would suggest to you guys too. Like, if you look at other issues you have in your life or other places of imbalance, or if you can just sit and honestly like journal, take an inventory and think about it and be like, okay, what else do I need to work on? Because there's always room to grow and learn. What do I need to learn? You know, something I talked about in July actually was like, I'm interested in learning how to cook more things. If I can get more time, then I'll start working towards that. I'm actually interested in, you know, possibly learning to sew at some point. Like, there are other things I could do. I think that that helps. Even if you don't necessarily do it, it's good to have options or to think about it because there are certain aspects and things of life that I want to look at more, especially when I'm less tired and when hopefully I have more of a work-life balance. Then I want to focus on those things too. So I think that's, you know, some more of that introverted side of things. But I think we need an extroverted side too, where we can connect or get in touch with people or, you know, do certain things that I think makes recovery more sustainable for most people, or that makes maintenance easier, honestly. Now, as far as a toxic ritualistic drive, if this is going extremely severely, you know, where you're having these drastic fluctuations, you need to get your mental health in check and you need to start fighting this thing tooth and nail. I'm of the opinion that the toxic ritualistic does not go away without fighting it. You must fight it. You must do the work, and it is fighting it. You have to white knuckle it. People don't want to hear that. I'm going to tell you what the truth is. You have to white knuckle it. You have to fight it. You have to work through it. And that can take a lot of mental bandwidth too. But as I'm further in recovery myself, it's been, you know, 5 years since I've hinged. Basically, you know, it was October of 2020 when I last did. That's been a long time. So it's like I'm a lot more recovered now. And I need to continue to improve myself or continue to work. It's like continue to work on myself, which I just think it's important to fill in that aspect of your schedule. Essentially, like think about it from a very practical perspective or from like what am I putting my mental bandwidth towards? Like I need to replace that with something. Otherwise, something negative can come in. Okay. Okay. Yes, this is a big one. You hit your goal weight and you achieve something big. Now what? You're in maintenance mode. So you do your weekly or fortnightly or eventually monthly weight measurement. Still in the 180s range. Okay, cool. You look in the mirror every day and holy shit, I actually have cheekbones because I'm still thin. Okay, cool. It can quickly become a feeling of same old, and eventually gets boring. And with boredom comes complacency. I could totally see this. I actually really appreciate this comment. I've been dealing a lot with boredom throughout the process. So I'd like to think that I have some grip on boredom. But yeah, I think there can also be boredom with increased health because you're more able to do things and you can be more bored, you know, because for a lot of people too, on a practical level, maintaining yourself or surviving in super morbid obesity is a whole ass job. And so when that's no longer hard, when things like tying your shoes are not hard anymore, then people get bored. And boredom, you know, boredom is a huge toxic ritualistic trigger that I think is not talked about enough. I think it's one of the biggest ones, actually, because so many times people have these issues or continue or maintain these issues in order to avoid boredom or in order to avoid that feeling of emptiness. And so I think it's important from a toxic ritualistic perspective to be okay with a sense of emptiness to a certain extent. I mean, you need to fill it in, and you know, I think life will fill it in eventually. spiritually it's filled in eventually, but you have to be okay with nothing being there for a moment in time. And that's been challenging for me lately as things in my life have kind of stabilized a bit. It's been really tough for me to sit with that sense of like stillness and not rush to put something there. It's like, stop it, Alex. Like, just chill. Just let it be. Just let it be. Okay, okay, okay. Because I think sometimes when we rush to fill that void, it can be really negative. We can reach for something in desperation, and I think that it's not good. Okay. Totally agree. Chris Terrell gave a good visual for this, that being overweight acts like a mountain right in front of your window. It's impossible to see beyond the obstacle, and who knows what other majestic peaks are out there for you to discover. So once the mountain is gone, we need to fill the void with what lies beyond. It's easy to believe that being thin will solve all our problems. For me, it just brought all this to the surface. I do not get to ride happily into the sunset with my new body, at least not yet. I'm really struggling with visualizing any life goals for myself apart from losing weight, but losing the weight has officially given me that little bit of confidence to say I will figure it out. I think that's great. I think too, what can help, like my first like maintenance era is really recomp and recovery. I'm going to define it by those two things. So it's still a little bit of an inter process. So there's going to be a lot of muscle work during that time as muscle helps you maintain. I'm being very realistic about maintenance. I want to make it as easy as possible to maintain, both practically and both physically and emotionally and spiritually. Okay? So that's what I'm working towards with that. I'm approaching my goal weight and death struggling with the idea of not tracking or making my entire personality about food. This is a very interesting and insightful way to think of it. Thank you for sharing. This is a good realization. How do you think we can stop the cycle? I think a lot of intentional deep work with changing our limiting beliefs. Again, if these things are severe, if it's within the toxic ritualistic realm, that's definitely true. I would say at its core, or that is a more simple way to describe the toxic ritualistic, but it is true. You have to challenge it. You have to violate it to get out. But even from people that don't have these issues, you can still have limiting beliefs too. And in some ways, getting to this goal, it may inspire other big changes that you didn't see as possible either. Or maybe it gives you the confidence to pursue things that you may feel what were impossible before. For me, it came down to designing a program I could live with indefinitely. It's not sustainable if your food is boring and you hate your workouts. Everyone has different preferences, and each person will need to find out what works for them. It took 20 months to hit my goal weight, so I had time to figure things out. And along the way, I adjusted accordingly. Okay. I like that. I'm going to think about that too. I know for me, even now, I'm starting to lean less on diet culture. I'm needing more saturated fat. I'm having more like ground chuck beef. I had like a big thing of cheese. It's like I plan my calories around like bigger caloric foods because it's at this point, I'm not struggling as much where like I feel like I need a lot of diet culture foods. I'm kind of just going back to basics because I think my appetite shifted or things just shifted. I got through that rough patch. And so at least for the moment, it's good for me to be working on incorporating more foods that are not diet culture-y into my diet and trying to balance out the fat ratios and get my nutrients right. Like I started taking zinc. If you guys are noticing why I have more energy, I think I was really low in that because it really helped me drastically. And I actually feel so much better pretty instantly. And I do feel better from the iron as well, though that does take a long time. But I think I really needed to take zinc as well during this time. So again, just working on the minerals and balancing everything out. It's a lot at this time. I take iron in the morning. I have my calcium in the middle of the day, and then I take my zinc at night. And so you have to kind of separate everything because they all like interact in negative ways. And then I have to start considering copper as well. So I might start having liver and stuff, and I'm trying to incorporate a bit more fiber and things like that, as it's just, honestly, it's kind of getting easier too, where I don't have to like have everything be like super high protein, and like I don't have to do that all the time right now. And so I'm trying to take advantage of it. It might happen again where I need it. I really needed it over the summer, but I think it's because I was doing a lot of muscle building over the summer, and I'm not really doing that anymore. That's probably what it is. I'm just kind of maintaining my muscle right now and focusing just on weight loss until I reach the end of this phase, which I'm hoping will come sooner than later, let's be real. But yeah, always consider your nutrition, because I feel so much better. I was really, really tired, both before I started taking the iron and before I started taking the zinc. So I'm just saying, it's important. I think exercise is a secret weapon to long-term change. I think it's true on a brain level. I think it's a very good source of dopamine, which I think is necessary, especially within a toxic ritualistic thing, because you need to do as much as you can to heal your dopamine and serotonin receptors, essentially, since they're like fried out by the cycle, the hinge cycle. So yeah, I think exercise is a huge part of that. I go to the gym daily, not to burn calories, but because I need it to maintain my mental health. It feels good. I'm strong. I'm agile. I can do cool stuff. I get that daily feeling of accomplishment and endorphins. I miss it on rest days. When it comes to food, I want to fuel those workouts. If I'm missing the mark there, I see real, immediate feedback. The workouts in turn regulate my appetite and make me crave healthy food. I get a continuous positive feedback loop. Yeah, I've also been having a bit more starch too. So I'm just kind of shifting things around where I think because I'm not building anymore, I still get plenty of protein, but I don't need like so much protein, at this point. So we'll see how long that lasts, but I'm doing good as far as my appetite, and I'm feeling better. So you just gotta adjust. I always tell you guys, you have to adjust at different phases. Because there were times where I was like, no, I need 12 eggs today. There were times when it was like that. Whereas now it's like, I can have 4. So then I can have other things. If you guys looked on my Instagram, I had Sweet Loren's pumpkin spice cookies. And they were delicious. And they have rice and tapioca in them. Some nice starch. So I'm just saying. Because I'm trying to bolster my thyroid as much as I can as things get colder, and just saying, shift it around when you need to shift it around. I'll always suggest that. Okay. The workouts in turn regulate my appetite, make me crave healthy food. I get a continuous positive feedback loop. That's great. That's the dopamine aspect too, because it can keep you focused on your goals too. I'm still struggling to deal with injury. Thankfully, I found a coach who will generally find something I can do so long as I'm not completely bedridden. Oh, sorry. And thankfully, the few injuries I've had have been relatively mild and short-lived, but I'm absolutely terrified of losing the ability to work out. My goodness. It's a lifestyle, not a diet. This is not just a platitude. I don't agree with it completely, but I think in a vanity weight, it can be a diet. But obviously, in general, I'm never going back to what I did when I was at my biggest. That's never happening. Okay, this is the key. Don't focus on a diet, rather changing your lifestyle and habits. That's why I don't care for specialized diets, as they don't teach someone how to eat once the weight is gone. Counting calories is a way to learn how to eat properly, not just lose the weight. By the time someone gets to their goal weight, there shouldn't be any major changes in diet or eating habits. Everything should just be the new normal. I don't agree with that at all. So I think that that's really important based on the person. Like, I'll be eating around 1,000 calories more a day. So that's totally not true for me. For me, even though I had a bad stretch there where I regained some weight, thankfully not even close to all of it, it helped setting a new goal. Not weight loss anymore, but another to work towards. For me, it's building muscle. I'm going to be working on that myself. I'm still going to be working on some vanity stuff in the next era. For a friend of mine, it was running. We needed a new goal because I had that feeling while losing weight. And then what? And the question is you need to answer. And that's the question you need to answer, at least in my experience. Yes, I agree. Okay. So I think that's enough. Again, I told you guys some of the days I need to be a little shorter. So I think I'm going to leave it there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you guys are in the process of downsizing, let me know what you're planning on for afterwards. I think we can all support each other. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.